Hello, today's question from an IT leader is, I have a high churn in my engineering team. What could I do?
Okay.
So I think we should describe what high churn means for those who maybe haven't heard the term before.
Yeah, good idea. So churn is a measure used to help you see a ratio, a percentage of people leaving your team over time or leaving an organisation over time. So a team or an organisation with very high churn, you'd expect to see a lot of leavers by percentage in a given time. An organisation conversely with low churn, you'd see very few leavers. Perhaps it's easy to assume that high churn is a bad thing because you're immediately losing you're losing people from your organisation, and indeed it can be. You lose lots of knowledge, experience, capability can leave, in which case high churn can be very difficult and dangerous for a team.
It can be disruptive.
Yeah. The alternative, low churn, as it implies that you get few people leaving, you might assume is a really good thing. But you can also have issues at that end as well, where you might be retaining people who you may not wish to, or you almost stagnate because you've got no influence, no new ideas, no fresh blood coming into your function or your team. So I think that would definitely be the place I'd start, is clarifying actually whether or not we've got good churn. Is it good high churn, bad, or otherwise? And
there are industry measures you can look at to see what's typical. Usually they range around 15 to 21%, depending on the industry you're in. But you should also have a look at internally across departments. So if it is particularly high in your team, but low in everywhere else, then you know there is something going on there.
Yeah, and if you find that out, then the next step is definitely to investigate, find out more. So talk to, I think that's your phrase, have a conversation.
Have a conversation.
You should we'll get that on a t-shirt for next time. I think you've got, talk to the people that are leaving, very obviously. It could be, in fact many organisations would prefer that conversation happens with someone in HR, say.
Yeah, it typically happens in HR because it tends not to hold any bias. You can ask a general set of questions and people may feel like talking about it, particularly if it's about a manager or a leader.
Yeah, if the reason they're leaving is you, then they might not tell you face to face that that's the case. So that's true. Exposing that conversation as well, where they're going, if you can, that all gives you information about, are they leaving you because they're desperate to get away, or have they found something really exciting and really good that they're being drawn towards? That gives you data in the first place. With that information you can then begin, or hopefully begin to do something. If it's something simple, like the equipment that you're using, you've got a development team would like to use Macs or haven't got big enough screens or something very practical and very simple, that's straightforward to solve. And there are plenty of examples like that. The harder ones are going to be, I really don't like the CEO. I don't like the direction the organisation has taken. The culture's wrong for me. But even though they feel tricky and difficult on the surface, at least you've got the data and you've got a chance of influencing them. If you didn't know, you'd do nothing at all.
And I think relating to that, some of the worst things that can happen that I've seen is where typically a leadership team will say, oh, it doesn't matter, we'll just let them go, it doesn't matter. They might be going to, quite a large competitor or, a brand name that may be exciting, may give more opportunity. But you can go, well, just let them go. They obviously don't care about us anymore. But actually it's really important because you can learn from that. Whether it's moving them into new projects or, realising that you need to be a bit more savvy about the products you're delivering or a bit more customer focused, whatever it is, you can always learn something from it. And, and a high churn, a continuous high churn gets out into the market. So if people are hearing that there's massive amount of people leaving, particularly if they're going to one or two of the same organisations, then alarm bells are going to sound in the external market.
Yeah, they are, and it will appear on Glassdoor and Indeed and the other review sites. Last point. If you do have a team where the number of people leaving is high, I certainly would. I'd want to broach that subject with the team. I'd run a session, a team meeting, and talk about it. it could be that they come back to the point there are legitimate reasons why people are going, in which case you can at least provide some support and solidarity with the team. It could be that because people are leaving, there's an opportunity to reorganise, and you can turn it around into a real opportunity for people within the group. I certainly wouldn't pretend that it wasn't happening. I would make sure damage control almost. I want to know that I'm talking to the rest of the team and they're going to tell me early if they're going to leave.
And I think when you're talking to the team, you can't promise or blame someone else that it's their fault or HR's fault or, you know, I will fix it for you, I'm going to get you a pay rise or, you know, whatever. This is around understanding, and the team will come together and actually they'll become more open with you as time goes on. You build that trust within the team. So we hope that helps. I hope there's some tips there for you. If you have a question for us you'd like us to discuss, please do let us know. Otherwise, we'll catch up with you soon. Thank you.